Hi, I'm Steph Johnson. Welcome to another Seeing with Stars podcast. This one's about Cancer season. We're nearly at Cancer season for 2024. Cancer season typically starts around June 21 and lasts until July 22nd each year. The exact dates can vary slightly depending on the year and the specific positioning of the sun in the zodiac. So the start of Cancer season also coincides with the summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, which is the longest day of the year, marking the beginning of summer. The season also coincides with the winter solstice in the Southern Hemisphere and the shortest day of the year. This year, 2024, Cancer season does indeed start on June the 21st. And in this podcast, I'm going to talk about what that means for you, what Cancer means, what it means when people have strong Cancer in their chart, and what it means in general. And then I'm going to go through, as I normally do, the solar charts, what it means if you're in Aries, etc. So let's get started. Cancer is the fourth sign of the zodiac, and it's ruled by the moon and associated with the element of water. People born under this sign are emotional, intuitive, often to the point of almost being psychic. They have a deep connection to family and home, and once they decide to be friends with someone, that bond usually lasts a lifetime. I also believe that women with a Cancer sun sign, because you are combining the sun, which is the element of the masculine or the father, with the moon, Cancer being ruled by the moon, can be women who are very close to their father or want that close connection. And the other way round, if we have men who have the sun in Cancer, then they can be very close to their mother. So there's a very strong bond that's formed early in life, hopefully a good bond, with the nurturing parent. And this then helps that person to be nurturing throughout their lives. So usually people with a sun sign in Cancer make excellent parents, and they certainly love to nurture and look after little people and fur babies as well. Cancers, as I said before, are often described as psychic due to their ability to intuit relationships, ideas, and motivations even before other people have spoken them. So therefore they thrive in small groups where everyone is on the same page and they value traditions and family history. In romance, Cancers are giving and generous lovers. They certainly prefer sincerity, emotional truth over mind games. Once they are emotionally committed within a relationship, they are deeply committed. This is going to be a long-lasting bond. So if you know someone who has a Cancer sun sign and you're wanting to get involved in a relationship with them, please don't play around. Only go in if you're serious. Because they feel things really deeply, this is the type of person who's likely to fall in love, be loving, give their all, and not let go easily. And if you let go of them, or if some circumstances force them to let go, then they're not going to bond with somebody else very quickly. This is a very true-hearted person. So as some call it the emotional heart of the zodiac, Cancer teaches us to pay attention to the unseen, to nurture the heartfelt things, and perhaps also to embrace what exists beyond the visible world, so the emotions, the underlying currents, etc. We enter into Cancer season, and this isn't going to affect just those who have a Cancer sun, moon, ascendant, or other personal planet. This is going to have an energy shift or a profound impact on us as a whole and how we operate as a whole. We move from that, or what would I call it, almost frenetic cross-pollination season of Gemini, and we move into a more heartfelt, more calm, if you like, season of Cancer. As I said, Cancer is ruled by the moon, which governs emotions, intuition, and nurturing. So during Cancer season, you may feel more emotionally sensitive empathetic, and connected to your inner world. You may also feel the need to withdraw from society and mingle only with close friends and family, really needing to nurture yourself and be by yourself. Cancer represents home, family, and roots. So communities may focus on strengthening bonds, supporting one another, and creating a sense of belonging. And it's time for all of us to cherish family, traditions, and create warm, nurturing environments. So during this time, you may feel the urge to nest, to change your nest, to make your living abode more comfortable, maybe more cooking or gardening or something along those lines. You may also see more signs of kindnesses in society. Literally, the be kind signs and t shirts, things like that may be more prevalent. Cancer also seeks security and stability, and so the media headlines and social media are likely to be centered on economic stability, housing, and food security. People may prioritize their well-being and seek comfort. You may be looking at your own economic security. As you can see, Cancer season affects us all generally and personally, and you can certainly look at your own birth chart to see where Cancer falls in your chart. But as I like to call them, the seasons of the sun also affect us as sun signs. So let's start with Aries and see where we're going. Aries, the Cancer sun squares off with your sun sign, and it falls in the fourth house of home and family. So home, families really emphasized. Now you'll see some correlation with what I write or say in these podcasts for your stars for each month, because obviously I'm following the sun around the zodiac. So you'll see some repetitions if you like, but this is also an emphasis on home, family during this Cancer season that goes from June 21st through to July 22nd. For Taurus, we're looking at more neighborhoods, siblings, short trips, and your ideas. So, really nurturing any ideas that you have, nurturing your thoughts, keeping a positive mindset, but also perhaps looking at how your neighbors respond. Perhaps you have really good relationships with neighbors. Do you need to nurture them anymore? Is there any fence building that you need to do? We also live in a world where there is a lot of noise. And so perhaps for the Taurians during this Cancer season, you might like to block out some of that noise or replace it with going down to the ocean and listening. So there's a lot of listening going on in your Cancer season, listening to the ocean, perhaps listening to music or anything that you find that soothes you. So let's look at Gemini. Gemini, we're looking at personal worth. So this can be how much income you have. Do you need to nurture yourself through asking for a raise or looking at how you spend your money? Or do you need to look at your self-worth? How worthy do you feel? This is an excellent opportunity during this season to really nurture anything that is going to boost your feelings of being okay. I noticed as I went window shopping with my granddaughter today that there are a lot of things coming back from the 80s. So, what relevance does this have to now? Well, one of the things that was very big in the 80s was what was called Eric Berne's transactional analysis. And that was all around I'm okay, you're okay. I'm okay, you're not okay. Well, Gemini, now is the time to look at I'm okay, you're okay, but particularly looking at the I'm okay, not from the point of view of an ego-centric point of view, but just nurturing anything that helps you feel that you're okay and also helps you boost your personal values, your material possessions, your financial worth. That can be anything according to your values. You might value being rich, in which case you need to look at how can I take steps towards that. You might value having a very frugal, simplistic life, and so you take steps towards that. This is about your personal value system, nurturing that. Now, Cancerians, whenever the sun is in our own sign, then we're looking at me, myself, and I. So this is your month or your period during which to really nurture yourself, to look after your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual health. I also think that when the sun moves into our particular sun sign, it's a great opportunity to reinvent ourselves if we want to. Obviously, we're heading for another solar return, another birthday, and so we need to also look at the previous year, the previous birthday year, what we've achieved, what we haven't, what we want to throw out, what we've grown and learned from, what may no longer be of value or worth to us or making us happy. So this can be a turning point for you, a fresh start. Leo, this is a bit of a behind the scenes type of period. Now, what do I mean by that? This is where, if you imagine a duck on the water and the legs are kind of going, going fast, but on the top it all looks smooth. This is kind of Cancer season for you. It's the lead up to your birthday season, which for all of us, again, the seasons of the sun, the lead up before, or the zodiac sign before our birthday is always a time to really stop, reflect, rest, recuperate. If we think of the creative process, there can be a time of quiet. And I don't know about you, but whenever I think, okay, I need a break, I'm going to go down to the beach and I'm just going to sit on the sand and do nothing. Sure as eggs, 101 ideas will all pop up and I'll have to write them down in my notebook, because when we stop, not everything stops, and we allow ideas and things to come in. So this is what Cancer season is for the Leos, allowing those ideas, maybe hibernating if you need to, maybe going off to a retreat if you need to, but taking some time just to rest and recuperate. Virgo, Cancer season is about you nurturing friendships, finding friends who nurture you, supporting friends who nurture you, but also looking at how you nurture your friendship groups. It's very easy for a Virgo person to do the practical things to nurture people around you. Maybe sometimes, though, your levels of resentment build up and you think, why, whose servant am I? We used to have a strange saying in my family, which is, what did your last slave die of? In other words, people can take advantage of you. So when the sun moves into Cancer and into that 11th house of friends and groups of people and clubs, it's a really good time to reassess whether you still are emotionally connected. Now, logically, you may have some things that you want to achieve. You may have connections that are a logical flow on from your life, your profession, etc. But we're talking about during this season of you looking at what can be a really give you emotional sustenance, what can uplift you. And if something doesn't or no longer serves you at an emotional or heartfelt level, then you can step away. Now, I've probably said this in a previous podcast. I'm not a great fan of completely cutting all ties or ghosting, as the young ones call it. However, that doesn't mean you can't take a step back, a very gentle step back, and just think, okay, I no longer need to do that. It's not about what you do, it's also about the process. And I think the 11th house is about looking at due process. How do you go about relating to other people? Does that need revision? And does it need more of a soft-hearted approach? Now, Libra, we're looking at professions, your professional life. Do you get emotional satisfaction from your working life? Now, this could be about taking your career or your professional life in a different direction, of fine-tuning it maybe so that you have a bit more, I wouldn't say fun so much. It's not just about fun. It's about you really going, yes, I feel that I'm contributing something from a heartfelt level, or I'm gaining something, or both, from a heartfelt level. It's not about logic. It's not about ambition. It's about nurturing. It's also possible that just during this period, during the Cancer sun sign period, that you get a particular role within your career or profession that is slightly more nurturing. For instance, you might be asked to organize a particular event for other members of your employment, or you might be, as a business person, putting on a special event that helps other people. During this period, I'm doing with Jessica Adams, you may have seen on my Instagram, a series of high teas with the stars, and these are very nurturing for people. We literally provide food that nurtures as well as information and self-help that nurtures. That's the type of thing that will be going on for Librans at the moment. Scorpio, this would be a wonderful month if you could afford it, time and money wise, to take off and live on a tropical island for 4 weeks. Why do I say that? Because the ninth house of your zodiac chart or your solar chart is lit up, and the ninth house is all about escape, travel, overseas journeys, study, anything that takes you away from the real nitty gritty of day to day life. Now, obviously, not all of us and not all Scorpios can afford to just up sticks and go on a long and wonderful holiday. So, what else can you do? How else can you escape? You need to nurture something in that regard. Now, it could be teaching. Perhaps you are going to nurture others through teaching, or you could seek out a particular teacher who supports and nurtures you. Could be through writing and publishing, because it's getting that work out to other people. Could also be that you start up a podcast or something like that. Now, not a local podcast that just goes to people in your immediate area, but we're talking international. This is a big scene or big scenario, broadening your horizons type of feeling. And this is not about doing it in a way that is ambitious or logical. It's about listening to your heart. Now, it could also be something connected with spirituality or religion, something that you're really wanting to nurture in those fields. Sagittarius, this is about business. Now, business or cycles of life, business can be metaphorical for many things. It can literally be you're running a business and you need to look at, is that business nurturing you? How are you nurturing other people? But it's also about the business of life, life and death, people being born and people passing over. Now, I'm not talking about the tragedies, I'm talking about the circle of life, which is young babies being born and all being well, and older people calmly and beautifully leaving life. And it's not just about that in your life necessarily. Could be that you are drawn to watching these types of things on TV and you wonder why. And it's because it's time to look at really time to kind of dive beneath the surface. So if you imagine water, which Cancer is, and you imagine that you're swimming, and then every now and then you need to dive down and just kind of feel that everything's you're amongst everything else. You are part of something bigger, or you're a part of something that is more all encompassing. Now, this sounds a little bit philosophical, but that is Sagittarius after all, the philosopher. But it's time to look at the meaning of life for you, and how do you nurture or sustain yourself throughout life? What gives your life meaning? Capricorn, we're looking at relationships, partnerships, business and personal. What is the balance of nurturing in your relationships? Is there an even balance? If so, you're likely to really enjoy a Cancer season of warmth and love and mutual affection. If not, you're likely to seek a relationship that is more nurturing, or seek changes within a relationship so that it's more nurturing. You may even consider for this period of time some form of counseling or some form of mediation that brings you closer together. You are looking for someone who can really listen to you and respond, and vice versa. And again, I say this is not logical. This is not about that exciting change of ideas. This is about that comfort and intuition and soft-heartedness that can occur within a relationship. And if you're in a business relationship, I would say that it's probably not the best time, how can I put this, to be starting necessarily a business relationship, because with the sun sign in Cancer, it's more about feelings, and business you need to also have that logic. Aquarius, it's your health and your daily life. Do you have habits that nurture and sustain you, or do you have habits that are undermining your health? This is the Sun in Cancer in the sixth house of health in your solar chart. It's also the area of small pets. So, are small pets in your life? Do you want small pets in your life? Are you going to rescue or purchase a small pet to add to your life, or spend more time with those who you already have? It's also about your workaday life. So there could be changes in your workaday life, but hopefully ones that bring more soft-hearted connections with co-workers, more understanding, more sympathy, more empathy, and that sustain you in a better way on a day-to-day basis. Certainly it's time to look at nurturing habits. Pisces, you'll be glad to know that this is a very creative season for you. Cancer is a fellow water sign, and that's always a positive thing as it trines or makes a positive aspect to Pisces, and it's in a creative area of your solar chart. So anything that raises your endorphins, gives you joy. Small children, you can spend a lot of time with small children, laughing, playing. But if you don't have small children around you, perhaps watch them somewhere, watch them on TV or whatever, and see how spontaneous they are and how they live in the present moment. This is about you finding some fun, sustaining yourself and nurturing yourself through fun, pleasure, and anything that gives you joy. That's not a bad message for all of us, really, is it, as we come into Cancer season? The emphasis is a little bit different for all of us, but let's look at ways of also nurturing ourselves, nurturing those around us, and nurturing some fun in our lives. I'm Steph Johnson. Thanks for listening.